Hi there and welcome to Juicy Celeb Talks. Peter Thomas, a former star of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and a well-known restaurateur, has been sentenced to 18 months in federal prison for failing to pay over $2.5 million in business taxes. This decision follows his guilty plea in June to one count of failing to pay trust fund taxes. Alongside the prison sentence, Thomas has been ordered to pay restitution and will be subject to 2 years of supervised release. Thomas, previously married to reality TV star Cynthia, garnered significant media attention for his legal issues. Local outlets like the Baltimore Banner and popular social media platforms such as the Instagram account The Neighborhood Talk extensively covered the case. Federal prosecutors revealed that Thomas, through his various ventures including Club One, Sports One, Bar One Miami Beach, and Bar One Baltimore, failed to remit payroll taxes collected from his employees. These withheld funds, exceeding $1.7 million, were never forwarded to the government, as required by law. As a businessman who gained fame through his appearances on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Thomas showcased his ventures in cities like Atlanta and Charlotte. However, his inability to meet payroll tax obligations has led to severe consequences. The court's ruling underscores the message that business leaders who fail to fulfill their tax responsibilities will face significant legal repercussions. The prosecution built a strong case against Thomas, presenting evidence that he used the withheld tax funds to support his lifestyle and expand his businesses. The charges centered on his failure to remit trust fund taxes, which are deducted from employee wages to cover federal income tax, Social Security, and Medicare. The misuse of these funds was a critical factor in the court's decision. Federal prosecutors argued that Thomas deliberately avoided his financial obligations, using the funds to sustain a lavish lifestyle. Assistant U.S. Attorney Karen Finley recommended a minimum 2-year prison sentence, emphasizing that Thomas's actions were intentional and driven by greed. She pointed to his extravagant purchases, including high-end items from brands like Prada and Louis Vuitton, as evidence of his misuse of employee tax funds. On the other hand, Thomas's defense attorney pleaded for leniency, highlighting his remorse and acknowledgement of wrongdoing. The defense argued for a lighter sentence, citing Thomas's willingness to cooperate and his commitment to repaying the owed taxes. Despite these arguments, the court handed down a sentence that reflected the gravity of his offenses and their impact on employees and the federal government. This case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of tax compliance, particularly for those in leadership positions. Trust fund taxes are among the most strictly enforced tax obligations in the United States. Failure to remit these funds can lead to severe consequences, including imprisonment. In the lead-up to his sentencing, Thomas took to social media to address his followers. In a candid video, he expressed regret and shared lessons learned from his experience. He advised business owners to prioritize payroll taxes over other expenses, warning that neglecting tax obligations could result in severe penalties, including incarceration. His message resonated with many viewers, emphasizing the risks associated with financial mismanagement. Before his legal troubles, Peter Thomas was a prominent figure in the reality TV world, gaining fame through his appearances on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. As the husband of Cynthia, he became known for his entrepreneurial spirit and ventures in the hospitality industry. His establishments, including Bar One, gained recognition as popular hotspots in cities like Miami, Atlanta, and Charlotte. Thomas's time on the show highlighted his ambitious nature and showcased the challenges of running multiple businesses. However, behind the scenes, financial difficulties loomed. The failure to pay payroll taxes not only tarnished his reputation but also overshadowed his achievements in the hospitality sector. The case against Thomas highlighted the broader implications of mismanaging business finances. Employers are legally required to remit payroll taxes on behalf of their employees. These funds contribute to essential public services, including Social Security and Medicare. Thomas's failure to fulfill these obligations left many of his employees without critical benefits, compounding the severity of his actions. Despite the legal setbacks, Thomas attempted to use his platform to educate others. His social media posts served as cautionary tales, urging entrepreneurs to remain vigilant about their financial responsibilities. He acknowledged that while landlords might evict tenants for unpaid rent, failing to pay payroll taxes carries far graver consequences, including potential imprisonment. Thomas's journey serves as a sobering example of the risks associated with financial negligence. His case underscores the importance of adhering to tax laws, especially for business owners navigating the complexities of payroll and taxation. While his sentence marks a significant chapter in his story, the long-term impact on his reputation and financial standing remains uncertain. Looking ahead, Thomas faces not only the challenge of serving his sentence, but also rebuilding his life and business ventures. The fallout from this case serves as a critical lesson for entrepreneurs about the importance of transparency and accountability in financial matters. Peter Thomas, former star of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and well-known restaurateur, has been sentenced to 18 months in federal prison after admitting to owing over $2.5 million in business taxes. This ruling follows Thomas's guilty plea in June, where he acknowledged one count of failing to pay trust fund taxes. His sentence also includes 2 years of supervised release and the requirement to pay restitution. Local news outlets, such as the Baltimore Sun, covered the case extensively, and social media platforms like the popular Instagram account The Neighborhood Talk further highlighted the legal issues surrounding Thomas. Federal investigators revealed that Thomas, through his various ventures including Club One CLT, Sports One, Games One CLT, PT Media, Bar One Miami Beach, and Bar One Baltimore had failed to transmit employee tax withholdings. This included over $1.7 million in payroll taxes that had been deducted from his workers' paychecks but were not remitted to the IRS as legally required. The Baltimore-based businessman, who had appeared on the Real Housewives of Atlanta to showcase his various endeavors across Atlanta and Charlotte, now faces severe consequences for his tax violations. In addition to his jail sentence, the ruling establishes a precedent for how individuals in leadership positions who fail to meet their tax obligations can face significant legal consequences. Federal prosecutors presented a strong case against Thomas, leading to his guilty plea. They asserted that Thomas had used the tax money to finance his personal lifestyle and support the expansion of his businesses. The case focused on his failure to pay trust fund taxes, those taxes withheld from employees' wages and required to be submitted to the IRS. These funds were meant for not only income taxes, but also for Social Security and Medicare contributions, which employers are legally obligated to remit. The failure to transfer over $2.5 million in employment taxes was a significant factor in his sentencing. According to federal authorities, Thomas's businesses, including his popular bar and restaurant chains like Bar One Miami Beach and Bar One Baltimore, had a long history of neglecting to meet payroll tax obligations. Many of his employees were directly affected by the missing payments, which were intended to cover essential government services, including retirement and health care benefits. The case included allegations that the $1.7 million withheld from workers' paychecks never made it to the government, a critical issue that worsened his legal troubles. At the sentencing hearing, Assistant U.S. Attorney Karen Finley argued that Thomas should receive at least a 2-year prison sentence, emphasizing that this wasn't an unintentional mistake but rather a deliberate attempt to avoid financial responsibility. She pointed out that Thomas had used the misappropriated funds to maintain a lavish lifestyle, purchasing high-end luxury items from brands like Prada, Louis Vuitton, and Gucci. On the other hand, Thomas's defense attorney requested a lighter sentence, claiming that Thomas had expressed genuine remorse and acknowledged his mistake in failing to meet his tax obligations. The defense further argued that Thomas's time in prison should be on the lower end of the sentencing range, given his acknowledgement of wrongdoing and his commitment to paying restitution. Despite these arguments, the court handed down a sentence that reflected the seriousness of the tax evasion charge and the impact it had on his employees and the government. Peter Thomas's sentencing serves as a stern reminder of the importance of paying taxes and the serious consequences of failing to meet these obligations. Tax evasion is a grave offense, and those in leadership positions, particularly business owners, will be held accountable for their actions. This case also underscores the critical nature of trust fund taxes, which are among the most strictly enforced tax obligations in the U.S. Leading up to his sentencing, Thomas took to social media to address his followers, expressing a mixture of frustration and offering advice in a video post. He acknowledged the severity of his actions and shared that he was prepared to face the consequences, stating that he understood the situation and wished he could resolve the issue with a payment plan, though he quickly clarified that such a resolution wasn't possible due to the legal process. In his video, Thomas also used the opportunity to offer a crucial lesson to others, urging business owners to prioritize their payroll taxes before paying rent. He explained that while landlords may evict you for failing to pay rent, not paying payroll taxes to the government carries far more severe consequences, including the potential for imprisonment. His candid warnings served as both an apology and a teaching moment aimed at encouraging others not to make the same mistakes. Thomas's message resonated with many viewers, not only because of his celebrity status, but also because of the practical advice he offered based on his real-life experience with the consequences of tax evasion. Before his legal troubles, Peter Thomas was a well-known figure in the reality TV world. He appeared on The Real Housewives of Atlanta alongside his ex-wife, Cynthia, showcasing his involvement in various business ventures, including his restaurant empire, which spanned cities like Miami, Atlanta, and Charlotte. Thomas became known not just for his TV presence, but also for his entrepreneurial spirit, earning a reputation as a successful businessman in the hospitality industry. His businesses, especially the Bar One restaurants, gained recognition, and he became a prominent figure in the Atlanta social scene. However, beneath his public success, Thomas faced financial difficulties that became evident during the legal proceedings. His failure to meet business tax obligations for his employees cast a shadow over his otherwise successful career. What had once been a promising business venture quickly turned into a criminal matter that overshadowed his reputation. The case serves as a stark reminder of the risks involved in mismanaging business finances, particularly when it comes to fulfilling tax responsibilities. Business owners are legally required to ensure that taxes withheld from employees' wages are paid to the government on time. Failure to do so can lead to severe legal consequences, including potential jail time. For Thomas, the legal journey is far from over. While he now faces an 18-month jail sentence and restitution payments, the financial and reputational damage caused by this incident is likely to follow him for many years. This case serves as an important warning to entrepreneurs and individuals alike about the serious consequences of failing to pay taxes and the importance of abiding by the law even when the pressures of running a business seem overwhelming. As the world watches the outcome of Thomas's sentencing, it is clear that his story is more than just another celebrity scandal. It is a cautionary tale about the dangers of neglecting one's financial obligations, particularly when it comes to payroll taxes. The legal, financial, and personal consequences of such actions can be far-reaching, as Thomas is now learning firsthand. His case underscores the need for business owners to maintain financial responsibility and stay compliant with tax regulations to avoid similar legal repercussions. Moving forward, Peter Thomas will undoubtedly reflect on the mistakes that led to his prison sentence and the lessons he has learned along the way. His story serves as a reminder of the risks associated with neglecting financial responsibilities and highlights the need for entrepreneurs to prioritize their tax obligations to avoid facing severe consequences.